Disclaimer, I do not dislike CinemaSins, and that is not a lie. For my next Everything Wrong with CinemaSins video, I'm going to be seeing their video on Kung Fu Panda, and I'd like to give yet another shout out to Gabriel Ortiz for requesting this video. Enjoy the video, everyone.
Legend tells of a legendary warrior.
Narration.
Similar to what the Birdman once said, don't you get tired of seeing this as well as the logos? Considering you've sinned over 1,000 movies at this point, you'd know that narration isn't something wrong, but a way in which a movie works.
Also,
Whose kung fu skills were the stuff of legend.
legendary legend.
Yeah, I'd say that's the movie's way of starting up the comedy here.
How did Poe get down from that high up so quickly? He's either mastered teleportation in his fantasy, or this is later, all his former foes are gone, and it's just raining cats and dogs.
Well, in the words of one of my subscribers, this is a dream sequence, so that shouldn't matter.
Never before had a panda been so feared and so loved.
Pandas of the past have set a pretty low bar for both of those. Pandas mostly just lay around, eat bamboo, and don't have sex.
But those things shouldn't matter here since this is a fictional movie. Also, this is something that nobody's thinking about while making this.
The Furious Five seem rather nonchalant about being on fire.
See what I said not too long ago.
We should hang out.
Why is Monkey the only one who wants to hang out with him, even in his own fantasy? Also, this is one of the 7 brief times Jackie Chan as Monkey gets to speak.
Yes, this is the first time Monkey speaks in the film, but I counted 9 lines from him, not 7.
Why are Poe's dreams/fantasies two-dimensional?
Because while these movies are 3D, they have established that what happens in a character's mind is shown in 2D animation.
Get up!
Is that small cot his bed?
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. And as an aside, this is why paying attention is always important, because when you do pay attention, you can kind of see/understand what a movie's showing you. So yeah, this is why I always suggest that paying attention is important, because it definitely matters.
How is Poe's father a duck? I mean, I'm all for adoption or animal-based movies, but in early China, a duck adopting a panda? I just don't see it.
First of all, Mr. Ping is a goose, not a duck. Second of all, Kung Fu Panda 2 tells us that Mr. Ping found Po as a cub, and because no one claimed him, he chose to raise him as his own son. Considering that you've seen this movie 5 years after Kung Fu Panda 2 came out, I would think that you'd have already seen that movie.
Oh, happy day. My son finally having the noodle dream.
I don't know a lot about cooking noodles or owning a noodle restaurant, but is the only qualification having a dream about noodles? Specifically, the noodle dream? I didn't have a dream about making fun of movies for a living. Oh, wait, yeah, I did.
It isn't exactly that the noodle dream would make Po qualified to run the restaurant. It's that Mr. Ping believes that he's ready to share his dream of running his restaurant.
Didn't you ever, I don't know, want to do something else? Something besides noodles?
It's the hero has dreams beyond what his family wants cliché, even though being a 4th-generation restaurateur sounds like a pretty nice gig.
I would agree with that, but that's not really the case for Po because he doesn't think he can pursue it and isn't really interested anyway.
Me making tofu?
Movie thoroughly eviscerates tofu.
That is not the right word to use here, my dude.
Hilarity aside, shouldn't Master Oogway possess some kind of wind-altering power that would allow him to blow out all the candles with a simple tilt of the staff?
It's almost like the movie answers that question, but with Shifu instead of Oogway.
Master Shifu attended the Lord Blackwood School of Extinguishment and didn't invite anyone else.
But isn't this an answer to what you asked in the previous sin?
So do all the creatures of this universe have low-resolution memories, or is it just Shifu and Po?
I wouldn't call this low resolution because the imagery you can see here is pretty clear.
Is that a magic staff? Does this turtle use magic? Why not use magic instead of Kung Fu?
Well, this movie is called Kung Fu Panda, meaning that Kung Fu is the main subject of it.
The Valley of Peace exclusively consists of pigs, geese, and rabbits. This is just another prime example of Hollywood pig, geese, rabbit washing.
Oh, nice job, Jeremy. You're just telling us what we can see on the screen here.
So did the Furious Five get dropped out of a helicopter, or do they all have the ability to jump 400 feet into the air?
It's the latter, since helicopters are never shown here.
Why the hell is there a lone, small hole awkwardly placed in the top right corner of this wall? Maybe they were training one day and someone said, "Man, it's hot. Could someone open a small hole in the wall?" And someone else responded, "There isn't one. We should have one installed."
Why are you asking questions that don't relate to this movie's story?
The 1,000 tongues of fire.
I was disappointed to find out there is not an adult movie called this.
I don't see how that's a sin, so I'll be giving this my award.
The universe has brought us the Dragon Warrior.
Choosing the Dragon Warrior is an incredibly vague process. The oldest dude just points randomly and whatever is in front of his finger is the winner?
Yeah, that's how it works according to this movie. Also, along with the other Furious 5 members, Monkey says what in this scene, so shouldn't you be counting that as one of Jackie Chan's lines?
There are no accidents.
Not believing in accidents.
Sinning this line, that's worth these many sins.
Escape from Chorgum Prison is impossible!
Dialogue that would not need to be spoken if it were ultimately true.
Well, since Commander Vatcher is telling Zhang what he thinks of Shifu's message, he's sharing his belief that Tai Lung can't escape since he's cocky and arrogant.
They made me Google, does China have rhinos? I'm not watching Kung Fu Panda to learn, people.
First of all, there have been rhinos in China. Second of all, I don't see what's wrong with learning while watching a movie, so I'll give this my award as well.
Master Flying Rhino's armor. The Sword of Heroes.
The invisible trident of destiny?
It's almost like Poe is aware this is a movie, and he needs to explain everything he is seeing so we can know why he's freaking out. Otherwise, he's just talking to himself.
Well, yeah, he is talking to himself, but Poe isn't exactly acknowledging that this is a movie because he's not really breaking the fourth wall here.
Poe didn't die after falling into the kung fu training area / death trap. Granted, that would make for a pretty short and dark kids cartoon.
Well, as I've said many times before, in these types of movies, the main character, meaning the protagonist, doesn't die.
So, is this duck their slave? Just asking.
He's probably more of a Jade Palace employee rather than a slave, and by the way, he's a goose.
Or even see his toes.
This is 2 of the 7 times Jackie Chan gets to speak.
3 of 9 times by my count.
So does China use these kind of paper screens the same way Japan does? Kung Fu Panda, stop trying to make me learn.
Well, Shaoji screens aren't exactly unique to Japanese culture. This is because they actually originated in China over 1,000 years ago and were later perfected in Japan.
Is that what this is? I am so sorry. I thought it was just a regular peach tree.
Poe may not have any kung fu skills at this point, but his talking with a mouthful of peaches skills are on point.
Sinning something you like.
I guess I can excuse the tiger with super strength that can lift 2-ton boulders on either side of him without having his arms ripped off. But what I still can't excuse is this prison feeling that this was a better solution than just bolting the chains down to the pillar he was standing on.
I have no problem with your point here, but what I'm sinning you for here is that Tai Lung is a snow leopard, not a tiger.
So this was pure luck for Tai Lung, which brings up the question. What was his plan if this didn't happen? Was he just going to pull those giant heavy rocks up and hope for the best?
But this is what happened in the movie, so why is this a sin?
You're not going anywhere, neither is he.
Rhino Clark Duncan. Also Rhino Nipple.
Pointing things out on the screen.
This escape is brought to you by Cartoon Physics, allowing Bugs Bunny to thwart other wascals since 1938.
Yeah? So?
Rhino Helm screen.
Basically what Megamind said in the previous sin.
Didn't place any of those 1,000 guards around the perimeter, huh?
Wait, the footage you're showing here comes before the Wilhelm scream, so shouldn't this have come before the previous sin?
Did Tai Lung disintegrate him? Why are we just seeing this copper horn shield that has no obvious purpose drop to the ground?
I would assume that the impact of the explosion caused the horn to fall off of him.
So I guess Shifu's plan is have the Furious Five beat the shit out of him until he decides to go home. I thought this was a family movie.
Yeah, that pretty much is Shifu's plan here.
Cartoon or not, Poe is dead.
See sin 148.
But he will.
Another reminder that Jackie Chan got paid handsomely to say 5 sentence fragments, and 2 complete sentences that will come later.
I would argue that his lines, "we should hang out" and "or even see his toes," are also complete sentences.
But Oogway saw darkness in his heart and refused.
More Yoda Anakin ripoff.
There are no accidents.
Not believing in accidents.
Sinning this line again.
My time has come. You must continue your journey without me.
Oogway heard that Tai Lung was coming, and he accidentally picked a fat panda to be the Dragon Warrior, so he is getting the f*** out of Dodge.
Narration.
Tigress, you gotta try this.
3 cheers for Jackie Chan's 4th line.
5th line, actually.
Movie rips off the doing an impression of the cranky person when the cranky person walks in on you thing from all the movies.
Since Jeremy had a similar sin in the Monsters Inc. video, you might think I'm going to give a similar response to the one I gave in that video. But instead, I'm going to say this. If this is something that many movies do, then just one movie doing it can't be considered a ripoff.
Pool of sacred tears.
Funny enough, the Pool of Sacred Tears was the name of my band in 8th grade.
Jeremy says something random cliche.
When you have been trained, you may eat.
So basically, Shifu is training Poe the same way I train my dog to sit, stay, and roll over.
Yeah, so?
I highly doubt that Poe would be motivated by a bowl of steamed carrots and lettuce.
But isn't that what the movie's showing you here?
Poe?
So that is his name. Poe.
Monkey pulls the airport police chief dick move of naming the warrior to the villain from Die Hard 2.
So, you're not counting this as one of Jackie Chan's lines in this movie?
I know we have taken some pretty serious liberties with physics in the movie, but Mantis holding the rope bridge with all his friends on it seems far-fetched even for the universe filled with kung fu fighting animals.
Seems kind of far-fetched to me that you're taking something seriously even though it's not supposed to be taken that way.
Why is the nerve attack accompanied with a Pink Floyd laser show on the recipient's body?
Because that's the movie's way of showing how that move works.
Also, why not just kill them?
Well, the movie asks that same question and answers it.
He could have killed you. Why didn't he? So you could come back here and strike fear into our hearts, but it won't work. The mark of a true hero is humility.
Yeah, tell that to Cam Newton.
Jeremy says something random cliche.
He's too fast! Sorry, Poe.
For those of you keeping score at home, that's 5 lines for Mr. Chan.
8 lines by my count.
Come, little one. Let's find your mama.
Maybe they realized they didn't give Jackie Chan enough to say as this movie went on, so they wrote in some complete sentences for him, even though what he says still contributes nothing to the story.
I would argue that his line, "he's too fast, sorry Poe," does contribute to the story because he was warning Poe about how powerful Tai Lung is.
Scroll is mine!
No one, from Shifu to Poe, bothers to tell this dude the fucking scroll is blank. I mean, what happens if Poe stops the fight right here and just gives the scroll to Tai Lung?
Well, even if Poe gave Tai Lung the scroll, he probably still would have fought him regardless since he wasn't able to understand the scroll's meaning.
I think Poe is the Dragon Warrior because he is a boneless, gelatinous blob that cannot feel pain.
Okay, so what makes that wrong here?
Music playing right now sounds like Look Away, Look Away, Look Away, Dixieland. And now you will hear that forever. You're welcome.
I mean, yeah, it kind of does sound like that, but why is that a sin? And here is the end result, everybody. The sin total was 377, and the sentence will be the Wuxi finger hole. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a nice day.